Bong bong.
Bong bong.
Flawless execution. So it says. So it says. Do you want to start the live broadcast? And I said, yes, I do want to start the live broadcast. So I click the button. And it says, okay, starting. Like as in okay, get ready. This is about to start, right? So we have the banner up that says starting soon. Base is covered. But I don't know when to start the animation. And there's no, and it's sort of like, it's like somebody who's like taking your picture is like, okay, are you ready? Are you, because then it's actually 3 seconds in and I haven't started the animation. So I'm just like guessing. So it's technically extremely, this is like air traffic controlling, starting the podcast. There's
Pretty much the same thing as what you're saying.
Totally.
It's a very difficult job that you do.
I think they pay the same.
Yeah, probably. If not, they should.
Well, facts though. Welcome everybody to a special r/rap battles recap of the Stay Forever event from King of the Dot. Happened last weekend. My name is Copasetic, Sucker Free Cope, facts, and with me,
Pathogenic.
Gonna be hearing that name a lot.
Fingers crossed, I guess. Yeah.
Gonna be hearing that name a lot. So, and we will definitely get into that. But r/rap battles is, of course, the largest online forum for the international culture of battle rap. You can find us on Reddit, this is where it starts, and Twitter, and Instagram, and the official Discord server in the links below. I'm pretty sure there's links there. I'm pretty sure there's. If not, message me and I'll send you a link to the Discord server.
Yeah, because we're like 50 plus episodes in, and he says that every time. So there's never been any links there. Somebody speak up.
Discord is fire. It's the only place for fans to go.
All the people that we've had on where we're like, yeah, we'll put that in the description. We'll put the link in there.
Yo, half the time I did it. So like 50-50. Thank you to all of our guests for coming on the show and talking to us. It's the only place for fans to go for battle rap news from around the globe. And just the best of the best. I feel like people who watch the show, man, obviously we're going to talk about it, but at the event, a lot of people were talking about how much they really enjoyed the show. And I was like, damn, you watch this shit? Fuck, I mean, we get views, the people are watching it. And some of those people were at the event and they were just like, thank you so much. I'm like, damn, that's really cool. Cause this is just like the fun thing that we do. It's not even really like, but nobody else does it, right? Like there's really not very much coverage for Canadian battle rap. So it's just fun and useful. Great combo. I don't know where I was going with that. Sorry.
Just pumping our tires a little bit. Nothing wrong with that.
And you know who, every single one of those people, hey, what's up? Huh? Speak the devil. Every single one of those people, extremely highly competent and attractive.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a coincidence. I don't know. But they
In
are
life,
all.
There are no coincidences.
Facts.
Yep.
So yeah. So I mean, it's going to be an amazing little recap. I mean, we're not going to go too crazy, but we were both there, so it's a first-hand account, which is useful. We don't often do that.
Yeah, very rarely are we actually both at the event together.
And one time we did a recap with Hulk from the UK, and he didn't even go to the event. That didn't go well for us. But yeah, shouts out to 50 Minutes of Fame, Uncle Ra. I said hello to him. That was very nice. Shook his hand. And it was funny. I was at the bar with Charlie Clips and Uncle Ron, and I was just introducing myself to them. And Hollow came in, and he sees us, and because we're all talking, he assumes I'm with them, and he's like, "Yo, what's up, man?" Like, because there's no way Hollow knows who I am, so he just assumed that I was with Charlie Clips and Uncle Ra, and that was cool for me. Yeah. What can we do? What can we do to just make this recap that much more special?
Are you asking me? Or I thought you were going to follow that up with something.
No, I'm asking you if you have any ideas.
Oh, if I have any ideas to make the recap more special. You are
Yeah.
hinting at something that I have no fucking clue what you're getting at, man. I'm on a whole other plane of existence right now.
um, yeah, I mean, like, um, it
Are
was,
you going to bring Steve out? Is Steve in the back room?
Oh shit. Facts though. Yeah, you were on stage. It's a good
I don't
question.
know if
Well, I
this
think of the other thing.
yeah, I think, how does it feel being on that stage? For day one, it felt really cool. I remember my brother and I were talking about let's watch the first couple battles on the stage, then we'll watch a couple battles from the fans' perspective, like on the floor, and then we'll watch a couple battles from the balcony. And we did not leave the stage the entire night because that is the place to be. It was so fucking cool getting to see those battles up close and being there for them.
And for day two, I imagine that it was catharsis in a way you could work through all your fears. Hey,
I figured it out.
Then,
Oh man, I don't fucking have anything.
oh no, okay, well we don't have to do it. Maybe that's a body cast thing. Maybe we don't do that in our recaps. Sorry, guys.
have you have you feeling like shit? I'll just do the community cheers with a fucking.
You work through all your fears and blah, 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 community cheers. It's gonna be a great episode, anyways.
Yep, it was flawless at the beginning for a little bit.
Shouts out to
Hey,
the GOAT.
what's good, Coy?
Really, really solid guy. I'm really glad that I met you and able to put a face to the name. And I gotta say, I love your fucking energy, man. I think it's just so important having people like you in the scene, and you just your willingness to like contribute and just your vibe was just fucking immaculate, and I was really dope. So there was a lot of that going around, but I mean, it was really dope to see you and dope to meet you. That's always fun. The best part of it, really. Yeah, my G. So okay, so we did the community cheers, and
Yes.
boom.
Where are we going to start?
Days. The biggest event, what people are calling the biggest event in battle rap history. And it's like, okay, there's a little hyperbole there. Probably there were bigger events, but you know, this event was more than just battle rap. It was, if there was another layer to it, there was some subtext and there was meaning behind it. It was more than just like a theme or like a gimmick or like a, you know, like a blackout or like a band or like a Kings versus Queens or something like that. It was like this is something that's really important.
I think if depending on the word choice, right? Biggest. It might not be the biggest. It might not fit into that mold, but I think it does fit into the most meaningful, and I think it does fit into the most important. Right? Pick another battle event that you think is more important than the one that just happened, and not just for the fact that it was raising money for Pat's family, but everything else that happened during it as well. Seeing Smack and Organic on stage together, Beasley and Gully with each of them,
It's crazy.
It's just you can't.
Bullshit.
There's an argument for it being the best as well,
Yeah,
right? I mean, we're talking the surprise battles.
Yeah, one bad battle, and it's not a bad battle. It's just a body bag. It's not really a bad battle. It's just
over 2 days, over 14 battles, right?
That's insane.
Only one body.
Yeah,
I think that you can say that is for sure the best King of the Dot event that's ever happened. And I know Sharon put a post up on Talkback, and if you were there, you know that. And it's because of the energy when you were when you were there, it it's not that it doesn't translate watching the VOD, because you can feel it through the VOD, but you're getting a small micro dose of what it was like being in the venue.
To be immersed in that energy it's a quite an experience.
And not just for a brief period of time. I mean, it was hours that you were surrounded by that. So it was, yeah, I think that it was the biggest. I think it was the biggest event that's ever happened. Definitely the most important. Definitely the most meaningful.
And in terms of like all of that, as well as, and maybe it's a byproduct of, is maybe this isn't a different point, maybe this is the same point, but there's a level of emotional vulnerability and availability with everybody. It wasn't just it was like, hey, this is a place where you can express yourself. Hey, this is a place where if you need to cry, you can fucking cry. We're all here feeling
Yeah.
it. So there's no shame. There's no. It just felt like, yeah, a place for really like tough people who put on an exterior about, and rap about all the time this macho, this bravado, this um, but you put that aside, and you see this just sensitivity and this just overwhelming, just yeah, emotional availability from a lot of the most important people in battle rap. It's crazy.
And it's the inclusivity, right? We're not just talking about being up on that stage and feeling it as the artists or the people that have been um, directly impacted by everything, but the fans were right there with all of us. Everyone was feeling the same thing. You could get off of the stage and go into the crowd or go to the bar or go to the bathroom, and every single person you passed was all feeling the same thing, and it was okay. And we were all there for one another while we were feeling it.
Yeah, yeah, we were there for each other.
And that was the best. That was the best part.
Yeah,
It
man.
was a support system of hundreds of us, all with a common goal, a common person that we were there to champion. And it, yeah, it felt different.
Yeah, yeah, man. We want to talk about the battles, but honestly, you can't just gloss over the atmosphere. The battles were amazing too. Like I know that people had varying times for preparation, varying prep times.
Mhm. Mhm.
But just in being able to compose 3 rounds at an event like this is an enormous. It's not just a regular battle, and the other thing that we were talking about too is that Pat passed only 5 months ago, and that's not a very long time at all. Like Arcane said it in his battle with the Saga. He's like, I'm not done mourning Bender. I'm not finished figuring and processing Bender's death, and the the I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine. I would want to maybe distance myself from battle rap entirely. I don't know. I could totally see that if you were really connected, and they came out of pocket to take on this enormously difficult task of being a beacon of catharsis for everybody there at the event, and walking in that line and paying tribute and being yourself, and in a maybe a less time than you normally have. Like I just I feel like it's an absolutely Herculean effort from the performers, and I can't say enough about, like, no matter how their battles went or who you think won or lost. I think it's just irrelevant. I feel like it's just um, in the face of the enormity of the task at hand. I think everybody did really well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that anybody's looking at it going, oh, I didn't do good enough to win the battle. If anything, I feel like all of us are or any of the battlers are beating themselves up. I saw Solcon say it because he feels he disappointed Pat. He doesn't care
That's
that he
fair.
lost a frac. He feels bad because
Right.
of the atmosphere the event leads to wanting to kill it, not to win, but to do good for him.
Right.
And I think
And
that's
I
the
think,
only
yeah.
thing that any of us will pick apart our own performances for is what could we have done better for him as
And,
opposed
and,
to
and like that happens, right? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. It's hard to, I don't think Pat, I don't know Pat, but I would imagine that it's the effort. It's you came, you are a part of this. So you're a big name and you're lending your big name to this event,
Yes. Yeah.
you know. But yeah, no, that makes sense too. Um, Day one, let's get into it. Start of the day, it didn't go in the way of the card. I thought it was going to start with a 2-on-2, but they kicked it off with Real Deal versus Loso, which was dope. I was running around a lot on day one, so I didn't see a lot of the battles. But did Real Deal do the football celebration dance? I don't know what the kids are doing.
It's the gritty.
Okay. Um,
He did do it. Yes.
he's
Yeah.
just like kind of amazing. I mean, I know that the enormity of the struggle that was his journey to Toronto through storms and cancel flights and borders issues, and there was so much. He got in like, I think it was a couple hours before, 1 or 2 hours before we opened the doors.
Yeah.
Um, but he's just like the most instantly uh, likable, amenable character. He did great performance from what I could hear.
Yeah.
It felt like really solid 3 rounds of, classic Real Deal jokes, great bars, fun stuff.
Strong the whole way across.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Like especially with what you were saying, like with all the stuff that he was like, that's a lot of stress for battle day. Like wondering if you can
Totally.
even get there on time, and then getting there,
Yes.
you're only 2 hours before, and you got to go first, and like there's so much that could be weighing on you. So
Yeah. That's crazy. I'll never travel on battle day ever again. I'll never do that. Let alone the fucking shit that he went through. I mean, that's sometimes you just can't control it. And I thought Loso did really well too. I couldn't hear as much, so I don't really know, but it felt like he was getting a lot of crowd reaction and doing well.
yeah, I mean, it's the like first-hand experience. I mean, we'll talk about it when we start talking about day two. But the opening battle, especially when you have a large group of people, a large crowd of people, you're getting the crowd warm, right? That's your goal. Your goal is to set the tone for the rest of the event and get the crowd warmed up and
Yeah,
receptive for the next battles coming up. And that's what Real Deal and Loso did.
yeah,
Everyone
smart.
went, okay, we're starting to get into it. We're ready to hear it. Okay, yeah, we're all reacting. Okay, everyone else is reacting. It's cool for me to react now as well out loud. And I think that it was just the perfect opening battle for day one.
Totally. Yeah, when I think about it now, not starting with the 2-on-2, starting with Real Deal and Loso is perfect because
I
Loso knows
think,
how to, yeah, do that.
especially considering that because the 2-on-2 did have mostly URL battlers in it, and that was the time where they brought Smack and Beasley out for the big reveal that everyone was there and cool. I think it was better to save it for a few battles in as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Where the energy was at that point in the night it was perfect.
Yeah,
Totally. The execution and from the behind the scenes, obviously I can't tell you much, but it there are so many little things that have to go right. And when Gannick posts about Pat having an influence on the event, um, it just feels like, man, there were so many of those things that just sort of came into place. The biggest thing being, I mean, about the secret battle and many other things, but one of the things that really stands out to me is the snowfall the day before the weekend and the day after the weekend. And like we did as a staff, we were driving on those highways a lot, spent a lot of time on those highways going back and forth across the city. If that was snowy with the other drivers on the road, I would not be alive.
Other drivers on the road, bro.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
Cope, you're terrible. You're the worst.
You're in one piece.
At one point in time, we went down one-way streets the wrong way.
Multiple
3 straight
times.
streets.
Yeah. It's confusing. Hey, which way do you go? The arrow this way, this way? It's like, hey, go this way. You mean this way? But we survived. So yeah, I feel like there was just lots of little things that went right. But yeah, real deal though. So second battle was the compliment battle. Another tone setting battle.
Yeah.
Right? Perfect.
Yeah.
My versus KCJ, super fun. I don't know what to say. They're both professionals. I didn't hear it too much. It sounded like my verse was doing really well. She had something about, or was that KCJ had the thing about, fuck, I don't remember.
My verse was insane. Her ability to compliment is on a whole nother level. But I think that also comes with practice. She's had a couple compliment battles before, at least one that I know of. I think that was KCJ's first compliment battle, but it was great.
Yeah. It Lost in Your Eyes. That's how Arsenal died. That's the one that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. Yeah. Terrible driver and hamburger eater. I'm getting ripped for the hamburger. Man, fair enough. That's fair. Just don't give me a hamburger. That's weird now. Now it's weird. Then the 2-on-2, and I didn't see this at all. So
it was huge.
Yeah. Hey?
It was so absolutely crazy. Well, for one, Real Sick and Lou, they have energy that I don't think it can be matched. Lou especially, it's something to see him live because he just commands, and the crowd is like, yeah, okay, I'll listen to you. Like as soon as he's rapping, the crowd's like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to you. And then DNA and Clips just doing DNA and Clips things. I mean, Charlie had some crazy rebuttals, and DNA, they had some crazy schemes that they went on, whole round length schemes, but they were still pretty fire. And then Real Sick's third that he had where he was talking about Pat, it was very, very well written. It was one of the best tributes to Pat, I would say, because most of the battles had at least some tribute to him in one way or another, and I'd say that one is a standout one.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, a lot of people, which is good because it's like you want to battle, but there is space for that, and that helps people too.
Yeah,
I really like Mad Flexes, but we'll get into that.
I
really liked. There's lots of good ones. Yeah, I can't wait to watch that back because big fans of those guys. Charlie Clips is high on my list of favorites, much to the chagrin of Ellipsis. He's not watching though. He's not going to watch this. Lots of people actually mad at me. Anyways, the next battle was Saint versus Franchise. Is that right?
Yes.
Short notice battle, I think this one, and Joey and Poe Rich, I think we're pretty short.
I think notice. Joey and Poe Rich were the shortest.
Yeah.
Notice, yeah, or at least really close. I know that one of the surprise battles was also a similar length of time.
Oh yeah. I think that considering that's what they do is they perform. Saint and Franchise both good performers. Franchise is great. He had a bunch of great lines that really hit really hard. and it's dope seeing him up on that stage. It's dope seeing him up on the big stage. I really hope that this is like, you know, the beginning of a fruitful relationship with King of the Dot, where they can really like push him, and he can take advantage of those opportunities, because he's really the best performer in Canada. Maybe he's definitely. It's a question of whether he's not number one. It's a question of whether he's
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah.
And he did, and I think he won. But you know, Saint is really dope too. I'm a really big fan of Saint's. You know, I've always been a big fan of his.
Yeah.
And fuck, was this what happened? I don't remember. I watched this one for some reason. I was able to watch this one.
It's a good battle.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. You're trying to think of what was next, or you're trying to go somewhere else?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what was next.
Surprise.
Really? It was after that?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah, man. Tell us from your perspective what happened with the surprise.
So here's the thing. Being a battler on the event, we receive itineraries, and so we were sort of hip to the idea that there would be a surprise battle. And on the itinerary, there were a couple names that I saw on there, and was very excited about, and went, "Oh my god, that's a surprise battle! That's crazy!" And so after Fran and Saint, I'm sort of standing on stage, you know, trying to think of what's left, and there's only two battles left. It was Dumb and Roan, and Hollow and Sharon. And so I turned to Saurus, and I was like, "Yo, do you know what the next battle is?" And he goes, "Yeah, surprise battle." And I said, "Oh," and I said, "Very excited for X name here and X name here." And he said, "No, not." And I said, "What?" And he said,
shit.
He goes, "Yeah, this place is gonna fucking explode." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I turned to my brother and I was like, "Man, I don't know what's gonna happen, but Source just told me that it's not who we were thinking, and it's gonna make the place explode." And my brother, because we were standing on stage, he goes, "I just saw Holohan in that upper room right there, beside through the glass." He was like, "I think it has to be Holohan versus somebody." And I was like, "Man, I don't know who it could be." And we were trying to figure it out. And then the lights started going down, and it was kind of like a mad scramble to split the stage so that the screen could be seen behind it. And the countdown happened, and I've never heard that much noise that quickly when Disaster and Holohan came up on the screen.
Insane.
That's the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
It really, like, everything that was put into that surprise was perfectly, like, well done. I mean, Diz is a master planner when it comes to everything he does, and the way he made it seem like he couldn't be there for that event, and then showing up out of the blue like that. I mean, on a bum knee, not just a bum knee, like on an obliterated knee.
Yeah.
Say what you want to about that guy, but battle rap courses through his veins, and he was being moved by the power of Pat to be there. Him and Holohan both, and it was special.
Yeah. Diz is such a passionate guy. You know, there's no way that he wouldn't be there. When I didn't know what to do, because I knew, and I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't want to rob anybody of that experience. So when it happened, I just sort of like stepped back and took a look around me, and you just see everybody's faces, and they're just like, it's like their brains are exploding. The dopamine, all the chemicals happening in their brain, and they're just in disbelief, and it's just so exciting. Oh man, it was just such a moment. Yeah, it's such a like you said, well executed. Disaster, man, played it so well. Oh my god. so well.
I couldn't believe it.
It was good. And it was good too, man. Fuck. On top of all of that, it was good. It was a good battle. It was like, man, Holohan was saying some crazy shit. He was really good. You forget, it's just like it's been so long, and you assume that the art form has changed and developed, and maybe you've got rose-colored glasses about the past and battlers who used to battle them. And I felt sort of that similarly about Dumb when we did the preview. It's like, is Dumb, can Dumb keep up, or is it, am I thinking fondly of him because it was such a long time ago?
And I think that a part of that happens because of how many from that have taken long breaks that come back, and it is very noticeable and obvious. So there is always this aura of, oh, I wonder how they're going to adapt. Right? You take X amount of time. Are you going to pull a J Mills? Are you gonna literally shit the bed? Like, we don't know. And as a fan, it's like this weird feeling of excitement and terribly scared to see one of your favorites that has taken a long break return, because you're either going to be hit with this huge wave of, oh my God, they still got it, or you're going to be hit with this huge wave of disappointment, like, fuck, I would have liked to just
Right.
remember you for that past you.
Yeah.
And Holohan was like, you're going to remember me how I fucking want you to remember me, and it's going to be as Holohan the God.
Facts. Yeah.
It was
No, yeah.
insane.
You're totally right. It's like hey, he's good. He's good.
Yeah.
Relief. Yeah, it's a spectacular battle, and so special, and just yeah, I mean, what's he say? Z-Pro. And yeah, it was fucking mad. And then they had to follow that up. Imagine having to follow that up. You guys are going after the surprise battle, the disaster in Holland. Is that okay? So I like opening.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Oh yeah.
Although technically, never mind. I'll say it when we get into it. But
okay.
But next was Dumbfounded and Roan.
Yeah, and I stopped working for this one. I think everybody did, because from start to finish, it was great.
Yeah.
Fuck, what to say? It's just the at the top of their game. So funny, so entertaining. Great rapping, great angles, great bars. Not too serious. It's a really great King of the Dot battle for Pat. Like
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I was completely wrong when we were talking about it before the event, doing the air quotations predictions, when I was saying that I don't think that Roan and Dumb are really going to try and actually beat one another, because I thought that Dumb went in there to fucking win that battle. Not to say that Roan didn't and that Roan wasn't good. Roan was very, very good. But I mean, I remember thinking that Dumb won the first 2 rounds and being like shocked about it, because I was like, wow, I did not expect that. I mean, you can kind of tell when somebody has a great performance like that based on if, like, who's being quoted over the next course of the days. And I think everyone was walking around saying Chat GPT and Smack DVD.
You take one knee for you take one knee for George Floyd, but you take 2 knees for Dave Portnoy.
Yeah, Portnoy and George Floyd, it was another one.
Yo.
And I remember like everybody quoting those multiple times over. So I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't just dumbfounded returning well. That was, in my opinion, I thought that was better than him versus Conceited. I thought that was better than him versus Disaster. I thought it might be the best
Yep.
new modern era dumbfounded that there has been.
That's my favorite dumbfounded performance, easily.
Yeah, I would say so too. And I think that Roan was equally crazy. His third round was hilarious when he was like talking to Pat and like, Solcon is by now, and that's hilarious.
Oh man, yeah, that was really like a well placed, and had no problem following up the Disaster Hall of Fame battle. It was such a feel good battle, such a fun, enjoyable battle, which led into the headliner for the night. I mean, headliner, I don't even know what that means, but Sharon versus Hollow. And I think, I don't remember what happened, but there was it one round that was freestyle back and forth, and the rest were two normal rounds, or was that the second round?
First two were normal.
First two were normal, okay.
And then the third was 4-bar trade-off freestyle.
Right. Which was dope and fun because they're just such talented freestylers. I think Sharon was really on point. I mean, he had his flips. He was doing really well. Yeah, Hollow's complaining about the time. That was a fun dynamic. But then, obviously, in their third round, the second surprise battle of the evening, Hollow brings Ilmac out, and Sharon brings Jin out of retirement. 17
years.
Ooh, that's fucking crazy.
First time that Jin has ever battled in the written era.
And he freestyled and killed it.
He still freestyled and killed it. But like, if you think about it, if you think about the idea of what that battle is, it's actually crazy to think about. We're talking about two normal rounds, with the third round being a concept of 4-bar freestyle trade-offs that eventually morphs into a surprise one-rounder of Ilmac versus Jin, where they also do, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 4-bar freestyles back and forth before finishing off with one round written each. Like that is just a crazy format.
Yeah, and they killed it.
Yeah.
Spend all this time preparing for a crooked eye, and you'll die by a slanted one. Just lit the fucking building on fire. People are like, "What is going on? What are you watching? You're watching history. You're literally not expecting to be a part of a historic moment in battle rap. You're not expecting that shit. Boom, you are."
I will also say Jin is like the nicest fucking guy. That
super nice. You see him on Twitter. He's super supportive. He's super talented. He's responding to every fan. What the fuck?
Yeah, he's the man. He sent the Saga fucking a birthday verse.
What?
Today? Like
what?
Yeah.
I thought his verse for Pat too that he did in his car.
Verse for Pat was
beautiful.
So well written.
Fuck. Like as if he popped up out of nowhere and is like here, like shining on all of us, just shining. And
yeah, I mean, there's so much talk about like who the godfathers of battle rap are, and I think that Jin has been away for so long and made like zero noise for so long that he almost got forgotten about. And to have him pop out like that, like you said, and show up, 17, kill it, everyone's like, oh my God, he's real.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who've only heard of Jin.
Yeah, like he's a myth. Like he's a fucking legend. He's like the Sasquatch of battle rap. And he popped out on stage and everyone was like, oh my God, it's real. and it's so fantastic. And since then, he's just been like, yeah, now I'm here, I'm out.
It's amazing.
You know when somebody's. This is what I was telling my brother the other day. I was like, yo, Jin, follow me on Twitter. He's like, that's cool. And I looked at it, and he follows 0 people. He's got like 50,000 plus followers, and he follows no one.
Damn.
And I was like, that's when you know you've got status and stature, because it's like, yeah, I'm just doing this to check in and see everyone, and that kind of stuff.
He's curating his feed to battle rap, to what he wants to be a part
exactly.
of. That's super fire. If you follow r/rap battles on Twitter, we'll follow you back. Pretty good with that. Actually, I just started following people who support the show, and just fucking following everybody, because we should all be growing that shit. At first, it was just like r/rap battles had a ton of followers, and I was like, we should be selective with who we follow. But now it's like, floodgates are open. Let's just fucking go. Let's just go. So follow us. Follow Pathogenic on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Follow Nathan Jones on Twitter. I don't know if he wants his Twitter advertised, actually.
Follow the BattleBot on Twitter.
Follow the BattleBot on Twitter. Nathan, shouts out to Nathan Jones. He does a ton of work for us behind the scenes.
That's not saying that Nathan is the BattleBot, by the way.
But is he?
Still
I've never seen the BattleBot and him in the same room together.
Still a secret.
It's like the worst secret. But it's a mystery and nobody knows.
I was gonna say, is it a secret? Like, I don't think it's the worst secret. Yo, chat, put the fucking what's the name of the BattleBot? Put it in the chat right now if you know.
Put in the chat if you know who the BattleBot is. It should be. It's extremely. I'm not gonna say anything.
I was gonna say, I don't think it's as obvious as you think.
It's extremely obvious. Yo, is Aaron in the chat? Let's go. What's up? Yo, who do you think BattleBot is? Nobody knows.
We'll try again. I think that's the guess.
Let's try again. Oh, really? Aaron? That would be quite a reach. But yeah, we'll try again on Sunday. And see
that's actually a fun thing.
Guess the BattleBot's identity.
It could be like, who's that? It'll be like Pokemon, except it's who's that BattleBot,
right? It's electric capture you like detect Pikachu.
No, when something electric seizes you like Detective Pikachu.
I nailed it. I aced that. Frankie, don't watch this episode. That was day 1. G-Show. Okay, G-Show. That's a good guess. That is a good guess. Day 1 was amazing. What's your story for day 1?
Story?
Yeah. What's your highlight? What's your highlight for day 1?
At one point I was standing on stage and Real Deal was like, well, actually I'm standing on stage and CJA passes me and he's got a beer and he's like, yo, Real Deal caught me without a beer in my hand, so he made me go get a drink. I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Now I don't drink before battles. Like it's a thing for me.
Smart.
And Real Deal comes up to me and he's like, you don't got a drink. What are you drinking? And I was like, oh, nothing. I don't drink before battles. And my God, he went on a tirade to the point that I was like, all right. He goes, look, you just have to have one. He was like, I'm not going to make you have another one after. I was like, I don't know, man. I think you might. So I was like, fuck it, whatever. I went and got a drink and then came back. And him and I actually ended up, the person that he had came with on the drive, he started telling her a fake story about my uncle. And I was like, yeah, I'm into this. And so then I started like chiming in and just totally straight faced it, like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, back and forth, talking about this fucking crazy story that we were making up on the spot, and it was absolutely hilarious. And that was one of my highlights.
Wow, Real Deal is a good influence. He's out here. Such a good influence, this guy. That was That's so funny because like my highlight was Real Deal oriented as well. I don't know. I had a couple highlights, but yeah, seeing Well in there was super dope. Luminous from back in the day. Um, Luminous was a part of a list that I made for BattleRap.com, and BattleRap.com. BattleRap Chris was there, which was dope. Dope to see him as well. Um, and I did a list of the top rookies in battle rap. Guys who have under 5 battles or something like that. Something people to look out for. And I think it was pretty good. It was a pretty good list. Had a number of people on it. It was like Dunch, uh, Random Jeff, and Luminous was one of them as well. I can't remember the rest of the people. I don't remember. But Luminous was one of them, and he was East Coast guy, and just people were comparing him to Ellipsis. Really good writer, really good rapper, and just totally disappeared off the face of the earth. But he stopped battling to pursue a career in online gaming, and was wildly successful with that. And so I saw him introducing himself to a Real Deal, and he was like, this guy's backpack on. He's like, "Hi, yeah."
His Twitch backpack on, like his
Oh yeah.
his fucking big deal Twitch streamer backpack on.
Oh shit, I don't even know these things. And he's like, "Hi, yeah, I'm I really like your battles." And I'm like, "Oh my god, do you know Luminous? Luminous is like the best." And like, just it was super fun to just like chat up those guys at the same time, be there for that moment. Because yeah, Real Deal's just like, it got such a good energy, and just having him at your event just is just gonna increase the fun, turns the fun up.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else? There was Ghost Drops. Shouts out to Ghost Drops. They gave away like fucking 800 blunts at the end of the night. Crazy. To everybody who's leaving the venue, gave us big boxes, these blunts, pre-wraps. Just they gave them out to everybody. And you could tell a lot about somebody by how many fucking free pre-wraps they grab. A lot of people are like, "Oh, a pre-wrap, that's nice." And some people are like, "Oh, get one for my wife." and that's cool. And then there were, a few people, battle rappers mostly, like, "Whoa, I would do it too." No, I wouldn't. It's free weed, and they didn't have to do that, but it was sort of like a highlight for the end of the night. You just had an amazing experience, and how about you get high about it?
Yeah.
And
it was good weed from what I heard.
Holy crap. I had never smoked Ghost Drops before because we can't fucking find it in Vancouver. It's super expensive. I don't know where to call, and they're like, "Oh, we're sold out." This is the first time smoking Ghost Drops. I think I was like high through the night into the next day. It was really impressive weed, obviously. Premium shit. That's why you pay for it. But yeah, really, really dope with them, really generous. The Pat's Day merch went like crazy. I mean, if you were in the middle of a lineup, you might not have been able to purchase it. So these are extremely, extremely rare. And all of the proceeds go to a worthy cause. And I know that there will be more made, and that KOTD is organizing to have more merchandise made so that people can get in on it. So they're only rare until more are made, and then they'll be everywhere, hopefully. Man, we got to fly through this second day. So let's just let's just skip the first 3 battles, and then let's just go. But Pathogenic versus XQZ. This battle has sort of been brewing for a while before the announcements even.
Yeah.
Can you tell people how that sort of got set up?
Yeah, it was supposed to happen back in August, and it originally got started because there was rumblings of an August event, and
Right.
I put out on Talkback, I was like, if I got the call, who would you want to see me battle? And lots of people put lots of different names. And at the time, in my brain, I was like, I want to try and push for a battle that would be a main page drop, because I didn't expect to be on the main stage of whatever event was going to happen. And so I was like, oh, who would be a main page drop? And um, I think Saurus and a couple other people had commented XQZ, and X commented on it and was like, yeah, I'm down for a conversation. And I was like, that's the one then. Selfishly, because I was like, that's going to be a main page drop. Obviously he was just in the season. His last King of the Dot battle was against Bill Collector, and he won. So, he's going to follow that up with me, I guess. So I was like, let's try and push for that one. And Steve was into it. And so we just kind of talked back and forth, little jabs here and there, which eventually evolved into this shut up sequence that we had going for a while. And, um, then it sort of died down for quite some time. And back in the beginning of January or the end of December, another league had hit us up and said, hey, we don't want the battle to fall to the wayside because you guys did so much promoting for it. And so we still want that battle to happen. Here are some dates that we could make work. And XQZ and I talked, and we were like, Ganek wanted this battle first, and so we should reach out to him and see if he still wants to do it before we just accept that battle on another platform. And so I had reached out to Ganek and said, like, here's what's happening. XQZ and I still want to do the battle, but it got offered on another league. We wanted to see if you still wanted it first, because if you tell us that you want it for whatever event in whatever future, then we'll do it for that one. And he said, why don't we do it at the end of February? And so I got on the phone with X and was like, yeah, I think that might be the Pat card. And he was like, well, I guess we can't really say no to that, can we? And so that's kind of how it got set up. We like to joke back and forth that we shut up, no you'd our way onto the biggest card that's ever happened.
Yeah.
But
not really. I mean, like,
not really. But it's a funny joke. Don't ruin the joke.
Okay, finish another joke.
But yeah, so that's how it ended up being on this card.
Because you guys, like, it was a great battle to start the night. I mean, we'll get into it, but we are getting into it. But I don't think anybody thought that was out of place. I thought, they see that as King of the Dot tapping into upcoming Canadian talent, and one of their guys that they know can perform and has done well on King of the Dot, XQZ. And I feel like so much character and potential in that matchup. And you guys executed. Holy shit. I gotta say, his first round was, here's what it is. XQZ did trains. It's done. You're gonna battle Path and do trains? No, you're not. It's done. Okay. He did it amazingly, and I thought it just like that's great because you don't have to deal with that anymore. Anybody who tries to do that again, it's not going to be as good, and whatever. But he had that thing about, why don't you? I do this voice. Why don't you, with all the crossing lights, you didn't notice that? And you started your round with a bar about there was no crossing signs, and that you flipped it. You know what you said, but you flipped it on him, and it was just like, it was what you said was like a both things, like you had it in your mind as a flip, but also it was also how you wrote it, so it was going to work well to turn that imagery against him.
Yeah, like I've without making it seem like I rebutted, because it wasn't a rebuttal. I didn't come up with that right then and there. It was just sort of chance that it was I had written that at the start of my first round. That I was going to say that anyway.
But it's still strategy, because you had to know that he was going to do some train-oriented shit. So you still get credit for that.
Yeah, I figured I didn't know where it was going to be though. It was luck that he ended up choosing to go first, and I had it at the start of my first, so it
It
was back to back.
it played beautifully in the room. It played
It
so well.
it it's one of those things where, and even though like what I couldn't have predicted was what he was going to say. I knew he was going to talk about trains, but I didn't know that he was going to talk about it having the arms and the lights flashing and being like, most people would stop.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
perfect.
remember hearing him saying that and being like, "Oh man, this is really going to sound like a fucking crazy rebuttal."
Oh shit. You could tell when you're delivering it, like there's this point right before the punch where you're taking your time with it too, and you could tell it's like, oh, he's just gonna fucking step into this fucker. He's just
Yeah,
gonna step into this one and just laid it down in front of him. The crowd's like, whoa,
yeah,
what? Whoa.
yeah,
Instantly, people who didn't know who you were, it was like, oh, okay. And that's what this
yeah,
was, really, because you're the least known guy on the card. Sorry,
yep,
you know that
yep.
by a lot.
A long shot.
Yeah, by a lot. So I mean,
I,
like, it's the beginning of your career, totally how it's supposed to be. What a great start for you on
yeah,
the King of the Dot main
I mean,
channel. Bam.
like, and I think that there's a part of the mystery about that too. Like we talked about how it didn't really matter wins or losses, but obviously as a battler, when you have a battle, you look at it and go, okay, did I win? Did I lose? And so like watching it back, because I know that it wasn't a off the top rebuttal or anything like that. Like in my brain, I'm like, oh, that doesn't really. Yeah, it was received very well, but comparatively to how his round went, I feel like I lost that round. But there's a lot of people that'll see that and be like, yeah, X had a crazy round, but your first bar negates everything that his whole first round said. And so like there was people that they say that they give me the first round because of that.
Yeah,
And it,
it's because it's strategy and it worked, and like maybe it doesn't work all the time, but it totally worked there, and it does. It saps all the energy out of that approach until where it's like it was based around it being an obvious thing to avoid, and you flipped it in an honest way, and highlighted at the same time your opponent's weakness. Like you flipped the concept in a way that highlights your opponent's weakness. That
yeah,
is the ultimate in battle rap. That is the fucking golden gun. So
bang.
yeah, so it's legit. It's legit. Anyways,
But yeah, no, it was a very, very good battle. I mean,
because Steve came back. His second round was incredible. His third
yeah,
round, it's just like maybe I don't know if it's the best Steve I've ever seen, but XQZ, we should call him XQZ. I don't know if it's the best XQZ I've ever seen.
yeah, you gotta call him SUZ. Him and I are on a first name basis now,
Okay,
so I can
fair
call him.
enough.
Yeah,
but it was at that of his highest level, of his best
yeah,
performances.
yeah. I
And
mean, I really tried to do a little bit of everything. Like my first round, I tried to be very very punchy and kind of play into that style of what I do, and it was received. But the way that Steve does his joke, like jokes kind of overtook what the goal of that battle was. Like my second round, I tried to keep it more jokes. Um, Third round was just sort of like a concept round that I had based on being a zookeeper and him being zoo faculty and that. So
right,
I
yeah,
kind of tried to do everything and see what worked the best. I mean, this was like me trying to feel out what I need to do to be in this situation again,
right,
and try and set myself up. So ultimately, Steve and I both won that battle
right,
because we did exactly what we needed to set up for the energy for the next battles on day two,
totally,
right? For Joey
totally,
and Poe, for all the bigger names, Arcane and Saga. That's I think we set the night off in a way that had that crowd ready for to react to anything because they
yeah,
got a little bit of all of it in that first battle, and
totally agree.
that's kind of what the goal was. And
Mhm.
Real Deal said on Twitter that XQZ and I was his favorite battle across the whole weekend. So
Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, entertaining the whole way through, and I think that mm, people don't understand how difficult that is to do. I don't know, we talked about that earlier, but uh, when you're on that stage, you have to be engaging. The dry spots are amplified tremendously. Any gaps in your material, any slow parts, it's just like you have to be captivating and engaging. And you guys held everybody's attention, built up the energy, like you said, and set up for the rest of the night in such a great way, such a fun way. It really like felt like a KOTD shit, like this is a KOTD battle.
Yeah. I mean, I had a friend who was watching the pay-per-view that sent me a message after and said the way that Steve and I were reacting to each other's material too, it gave the battle a good feeling. Like watching it on cam, he was like, it felt good.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a animosity type battle or like it just felt good the whole way through, which
Yeah.
is nice. I will also say that's the first time that I battled on a stage. And so I was trying to figure out how to do that because it's definitely
It's a little
not the
different.
same.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to battle in a pit that day.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
originally meant to be in the pit, and then obviously there was too many people, so they couldn't have the
Yeah.
pit. So
It was packed. I mean, I battled there for World Domination 4 years ago or so, 4 or 5 years ago, and it was not that packed. And we did the pit, and yeah, I thought that was what was going to happen here. But the stage is great too because you have
it was
a
great.
um, yeah, it's a little different, but it's just the room is full of people. It's like people are standing in the corners. That's how packed it is. You have to think about and plan whether or not you're going to the bathroom or getting a drink. It's like am I going to go to that side of the room? Yeah, we're going to go to that side of the room. Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
Like, um, it was amazing. So let's run through these battles because we're over time now.
we're over time. Yeah,
But Poe versus oh, let me preface it with this. Lots of prefacing because that's what's going to make the show short and concise. Um, when you're wrong, it's because you have an idea of how reality is, and you're surprised. When you're surprised, it's because you have an idea of how reality is, and you're wrong. Your idea of how reality was is wrong. That's why we do predictions to see who's got the closest approximation of reality. Who does this well? That's all just a gamble. It's a crapshoot. But I didn't know. I predicted a bunch of things wrong. Let me just say that. Okay, fine. Fuck it. I said I was wrong pretty much the entire 2 days about what would happen. So Poe versus Joey. I thought Poe was gonna have trouble against Joey. I thought that Joey. I just watched him arguably beat Ellipsis, and I didn't know if Poe was up to it. But holy shit, was I ever fucking wrong? That was a big L. I'm gonna hold this right here. Poe was fucking amazing. What did you think?
I didn't see it.
Are you kidding?
No, I got off stage, and then X went and did his post-battle interview with Anderson Burris,
Oh,
and then I went and did
true.
my post-battle interview with Anderson Burris, and so it happened while I was doing that. And then when I came
Shit.
out, actually, that's a funny story, but it'll keep the show going for too long, so it's not enough.
Okay. All right.
I
Anyways,
missed
it was really good. I know that it was short notice, and Joey had like a lot of rap and a lot of like indirect stuff, which I assume was because of the situation. And he delivers it so well. He's a great performer. Like we were
Yeah.
saying, we talk one performers in Canada. He's in the conversation.
Yeah.
And Poe is a lot more of classic Poe style. I'm gonna joke. I'm gonna punch. I'm gonna bully you. It's like he did it really well. He executed it really well, and the stuff he was saying was really funny. And he's playing the crowd really well. Like it was just like the best Poe that you can imagine. I thought he did. Possibly that time constraints suited his style more because it's a lot more conversational. It's a lot more, let me just, think of some shit about this guy. Whereas Joey's like, he's rhyming a bunch, he's punching a bunch, and he's just doing a bunch of rapid fire stuff that's high energy, classic Joey stuff. And I think that's probably more laborious to write. I'm not saying it's easier or harder, but probably I think it takes more time.
I remember Joey and I talking. I'm going to tell another story that's going to keep the show going for too long. Never mind.
Fuck it. Fuck it.
I was going to say, Joey and I were talking before the event, before I flew to Toronto, and he said, we're on day 2. We're the first 2 battles on day 2. And he was like, one of 2 things is going to happen. That crowd could be super tired from day 1, and all they're going to want to hear is jokes. And he's like, if that's the case, you and I are going to be in for a long night, man, because Poe is going to joke and X is going to joke, and they won't be receptive to our stuff. And he said, or best case scenario, that crowd's going to be right up there wanting the same thing that they got the previous night, and then we'll be fine. And I think that it was in the middle of both. I think the crowd definitely was really, really excited to see the jokes, and I think that kept going throughout the night for day 2. But they were receptive to the bars too, so it was a perfect blend of both, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that. I think that's very ambiguous. It's hard to lock down, a crowd, but you can lock down what you're doing as entertaining, and
Yeah.
You do your best.
Yeah.
Great battle. I can't wait to watch the replay. But after that was
Arcane and Saga, I think.
right. Arcane and Saga. Let's just bring this up so that we can just breeze through this. Arcane, Saga. Saga was decent. He was struggling in the first round. Let's be real. Let's just be 1,000%. He was stumbling, and I don't know what their prep time was, but I feel like maybe that was a factor. I don't know what.
He also got there like right before getting to the venue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he had trouble getting there, so that also would have played a factor into that too, I think.
But he started picking up momentum as he went. Everybody wanted him to do well. That's the thing too, is when he was slowing down, you could hear the crowd was like just giving him time to like bring it together. They were like, when a crowd is supportive after somebody is trying to find the material. They did the same thing with Soulcon.
Briefly.
Yeah. I felt like people want you to do well. That energy is there. I feel like that's always the case too. Obviously there's examples of, people who are heels and stuff like that. But for the most part, people are there to see a good battle. They want you to do well. So he had that energy, and Arcane was great. I thought Arcane was really funny and great bars, great performance as well. Classic Arcane. And then he had a great tribute to Pat in his third, in his bit, and I thought it was really touching. He talked about, like I said, Bender passing as well, and just the emotion of that, as well as Saga had a great third round, and those 2 rounds back to back those third rounds that got me the closest to tears. I know that broke a few people, but it was just, the emotion was so palpable at that stage. And we'd already been through day 1 and a couple of great battles on day 2. It was like, it felt like the emotional peak, the culmination of all of that in one moment. And having Pat's family there, his brother, they were on stage. There was a big painting of Pat that everybody signed. There was so much happening to honor the family, because there was no secret battle on the second day. So there was a lot more about Pat and his legacy and things like that. And just the energy was different. And then we got into Frack versus Soulcon. And Soulcon and Frack is crazy. You look like Mason when you do that.
Oh, I do too, don't I?
Yeah, for real. So Soulcon starts. He starts and it's great. It's like, oh shit, Soulcon. He's got the files. He's talking about how Frack doesn't talk about Israel and stuff like that. I'm not super locked in on Israel-Palestine stuff. Sorry, I don't know that stuff too well. But apparently it's bad for him not to have search history about specific things. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing with the files. The files, uh, they weren't that damning. And then the one he did do was like, I gave you the idea for ripping up the paper versus disaster. And I thought, okay, that's pretty damning. The way that he framed it, I felt like he did a good job exploiting that angle. But that didn't matter.
No.
That didn't matter at all.
No. I'm
Holy
gonna
fuck.
I'm gonna say this. I was standing behind Charlie Clips, and Charlie Clips turned and he said, "That boy Frack is one of the best battle rappers currently." He said he just doesn't battle often, and everyone forgets. And that kind of praise from that level of battler
Facts.
says something. That's it. Like that's in the first round. Frack kept that going for 3 rounds.
Oh, it's almost like it got better.
Yeah, I think it did.
Oh man, there were so many moments. It wasn't raps. It was moment after moment after moment. Each moment was an angle with a punch and rapping. Uh, it was what? Alien shit. I don't think I've ever seen a performance as cohesive and airtight and well delivered as that before.
No. Scary.
Fuck, man, I was blown away. What the
I don't
fuck?
know. I don't know if there's any battlers that were there that watched that would now be like, I want to battle Frack. I think like it's one of those performances where you've struck fear into the hearts of battlers out there.
Pretty impressive.
It was very impressive.
Um, Sulkan had a great punch about Keith David, and I thought, you niche motherfucker, don't be dropping niche bars out there. I loved it. I'm a huge Keith David fan, but I like, who knows that shit? Nobody fucking knows that shit, man. The voice of what's his face from Gargoyles, that '90s short-lived '90s cartoon. It's an amazing cartoon. It's really good. Anywho, after that was Madflex Mike P.
Yep.
Madflex Mike P. And it was really funny. Man, I got this shit wrong. I thought Mike P was gonna win. I thought I thought Madflex. There's things about his style that don't connect with me. I find.
Yeah.
I don't know. Over the years, I've seen a lot of good performances from him, and I've seen a lot of performances that were like the bars didn't hit me. And specifically, we'll say him versus Ellipsis was the first time I saw him when he came up to Vancouver, and I had to judge that match, and I judged it for Ellipsis. Obviously, it's fucking Ellipsis is the best. But he had a bunch of like basketball stuff, and like sometimes he does sports stuff, or sometimes it's stuff that just doesn't hit me. And so yeah, I thought Mike P is going to win this. I remember talking to you and Mason about it beforehand. You guys were like, "We'll see." Okay, if that's what you think. And I was like, "Yeah, what do you guys know that I don't know?" Holy Jesus Christ! Probably one of the greatest, and I know I just said this, but for me, one of the best battle rap performances I've ever seen in my life. He was so funny and natural and in the pocket. His material was really tight. He was in a fucking jacket and a hoodie. And motherfucker was dressed up for winter in Toronto, inside in front of the lights.
Oh, in a crowded room of very tight, close knit people
who were energetic and drinking, and like, how I expect this man to spontaneously combust.
Facts.
I guarantee you he lost weight during that battle. It's a, what do you call it? Hormetic stress. He's just like, I'm in a battle in a fucking enormous jacket. I was shocked. I was shocked because of the fucking energy that he had. He was moving in it like it wasn't a big deal. And
Yeah,
he was playing to the crowd, playing a camera. His stuff was hitting. It was just like, I don't know. I was wrong again. And man, super impressive.
Brian's my dog. It's not a
You got
Family Guy joke.
hey, yeah, man. I just had to tell him. The one thing that I really liked is he did the you put the lights up from your cameras and yeah, everybody raising the lights. It was just a beautiful moment. He talked about how I think this will be in the footage, so you can say it better than me. But to summate, it was about how Pat lives on inside of all of us, and I think that was such an important message for the event. You know, for it to be about Pat's life and what his life gives to us as fans, and what we can do with that,
Mhm.
and that's really powerful message that resonated a lot with me.
Yeah. Mike P was good too. Not to
Boy,
discredit and say that Mike P wasn't good. He was very comfortable on the King of the Dot stage. He was performing very well. I got major Jim Carrey vibes from him a couple of times, and how he was doing his material and the way that he was presenting it. I was like, oh, this is great. It looked like he was having a lot of fun up there, which is fantastic, right?
that's
Like,
dope. That's what it should be, right? I mean, he talked about that too after the event. He was like, he felt the spirit of Pat just like allowing him to be relaxed in that moment.
yeah,
It's funny about his debut. I never really think about that, but yeah, him and the Saga and whoever else. It's like their first time on King of the Dot. Like that matters. Like I mean,
yeah,
right? You know how to battle. He's there. I was doing socials. I didn't really catch too much of his stuff, but I'm really glad that they had a war and that it was
yeah.
like such high quality footage for the channel. Okay, wait over. What's after this?
Final battle. Source
Really?
and Kid Twist.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And this was great. I mean, I knew going into it because I'd sparred with Saurus and Madflix, so I kind of knew the direction that the battle was going to go. But it was also kind of one of those surprise-ish types. You remember when Shuffle T and Twist battled at Blackout, and it slowly morphed into a 2-on-2 with
Yeah.
Nameless and Marlowe jumping in and
Right.
becoming a. That was very similar to this battle, where after the first round, each of them had regular first rounds, and then at the end of Twist's first started to slowly morph it into a complement battle. And so Saurus's second, Twist second, and Saurus's third, and Twist's third were all complement rounds,
Yeah.
and it was very, very well done. I mean, Thesaurus had one of his best rounds, I think, that he's ever had in his first round against Twist. He had all of these movie references. First, he had said, it's time for the guy who made the movie to meet the guy who wrote the book, and then
Yeah.
followed that up by saying all of these different movies that have twists in them, and it went
Yeah.
on
It's a
and
crazy
on.
scheme.
It was a crazy scheme, and finally ended with movies with a better twist, basically. And it was
Yeah.
like, wow, that was very well done. And
The guy who
Twist,
wrote. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Twist flipping Pat's one of Pat's most famous lines, which was against Saurus when he said his forehead so greasy and slimy. That
Crappy
whole
human
bit,
amongst us.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one,
A crappy
yes.
human amongst me.
And
Yeah. That's sick.
and Twist flipped it, but in a compliment style, did the same thing in sort of that same format, but compliment wise. And it was so well done. I mean, this was one of those battles where, again, I think people were like, I wonder if Twist still got it. And he definitely does.
Yeah. His last battle. So.
And salute to Paul Rich for fucking jumping in at the end and saying the wrong thing. I don't know
I
if you
missed
heard
that.
that story or not.
No, I missed that.
At the very end, Twist is talking because Paul Rich was his two-on-two partner, and
Right.
they battled Ilmac and Saurus, I think, however long ago.
Sure.
And so he was doing this thing, and he said, and history is like a circle that comes around. And Polrich was supposed to jump in and say, and now the cycle's complete,
Right.
and finish it off with that.
Yeah.
And so Twist stepped back and Polrich stepped up and said, "You should have put me in bodied." And then got up. And then Twist said, "And now the cycle's complete." And so he filled it in. But it's one of the
Oh, that's funny as
it
shit.
is one of those all-time, I think, classic King of the Dot moments. Like
That's really funny.
Poe just naturally does that.
That's really funny.
It's so funny. You should have put me in body.
Great way to end the night. Just the vibes are on 10, 11, 12. It's just, a compliment battle, like you said. Um, there's so much there, the history, the amount of champions in the building. Just an incredible way to end the 2 days. Um, there was a talk about, I had various people coming up to me being like, I can't believe this is how KOTD ends. So sad. And I'm like, what? What?
Yeah.
That was the sentiment. There were some people who just felt like it was a farewell to King of the Dot. And that's wild. I think that was just the emotion of it.
Yeah.
And being about Pat. But if anything, I feel like I also felt a ton of energy from battle rap promoters, Canadian battle rap promoters, and everybody really from the battle rap community felt this energy from how the community came together for this event. It's very motivating. It's very energizing. This is a bunch of people who just put aside their real lives and came out of pocket, and not just the battlers. Like there's so many people who are involved in just to 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 contribute to what we have, and that what's so important to battle rap is the number one thing is the community. So just incredible energy, incredible weekend, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here because I think that if anything, we're just ramping up.
I think so too.
Fuck yeah. Let's see Pathogenic on some fucking Pathogenic versus New Jersey twerk. I don't know. Let's see some shit. I don't know. Come on.
But I would I hope that the King of the Dot has me back for sure.
Yeah, facts. And we're gonna see you guys on Sunday. We're gonna end the show and be back with the body cast talking about international stuff because boy howdy is there a lot of news around the world.
My gosh, is there ever?
Facts. Okay, so thank you all for watching. Copasetic, this is Pathogenic. There we go. And we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, all that stuff. You changed your Instagram.
Yeah, Pathogenic
Right.
GG.
It's way easier to tag. Pathogenic.
Yeah.
It's great, and we're everywhere. We'll see you guys on Sunday.
See you on Sunday.